like I got to lean in.
What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday night. We are here recapping season 6, episode 3 of The Real Housewives of Miami. We titled this, Larsa, did you know? Thank you guys who are already in the chat, who have joined us. Danny, Shantae, how is y'all Thursday going tonight? Danny, how are you?
Ooh, it's been a day between work and other stuff, but here and ready to get into some things. Ready to get into some things on these girls.
Shantae, hello, how are you?
I'm good, and I'm with Danny. Who's ready to get into it?
Is this the first time the three of us have been on a panel together? I think, Danny, you and I and Love have been together, and I think you and Shantae have been together. I don't think.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the three of us last week?
Was it the three? No, Love was last week.
No, I covered for Love. Oh, Love covered for me last week.
Yes, covered for you last week. So anyway, come on. We love pairings. We love different pairings with the new members. If you guys have been following us, you remember Shantae joined me for the Real Housewives of New York City. So now she is with me again on Real Housewives of Miami. She's obsessed with me. She can't get enough of me. She's following me everywhere I go.
Can't get enough of your love, baby.
So hold on now.
I sound better than Julia singing.
We're gonna get into that because my God, oh my God. It looks like the comments already lighting up. We've got D Loves said she is disgusted with Larsa. And look, let's keep that energy and let's just jump right into it.
Matter of fact, let's pin this comment.
Okay, look, let's this is what we're on tonight. So before we start, guys, you know the deal. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We have so much going on this season. Between different shows. I think right now we've got about 6 or 7 shows that are currently in rotation. Liking and subscribing and turning on your notifications will let you know exactly when we go live or when we drop new videos. And as always, when we're live, please blow up our comments, call in at the end of the show. We want to hear your takes on how horrible a person Larsa is, like Morgan said. So we pick back up at the tail end of this brunch. We see Gertie, once again, they're kind of recapping. Gertie is telling Larsa that she has cancer. Larsa kind of sits there stunned for about a beat or two. And then she says, well, how was I supposed to know that? How do you know? How do you know you have cancer? How do you know? And Gertie, you can see it on her face, is just like, what? Huh? Like, what do you mean, how do I know? Larsa is more concerned with looking like the bad guy than being an empathetic person. And she's saying, wait. The part that really disgusted me was when she said, well, don't try to put this on me. I didn't know that you had cancer. It was like, girl, we are so far removed from who's at fault now. Gertie is begging her to just shut up so she can finish talking. She's really emotional. Finally, Larsa shuts up. And Gertie is like, look, I haven't told anybody in the group. Except, Adriana, Julia, Nicole, you're the 4th person in the group. We barely started telling my family. Please do not tell anybody else. We're trying to figure out how to do that. It's still shocking for me. I'm trying to figure this stuff out. She tells Larsa that she was fighting and really distraught at the party because she was just a wreck emotionally. She had just found out. They kind of go over what the treatment and everything is going to look like. And it seems that they're in a good place. Larsa does apologize and says, you should have told me just right off the bat, we wouldn't have been arguing. And I'm like, oh my God, you're still like, oh my God. So as they leave, Larsa thinks she's making a joke and is like, what would you do if I just called TMZ and told them right now? And I'm like, oh my God, this girl. We have a smash scene from Messy Production showing us that a mere 4 hours later at her party, Larsa sits down with two random girls that aren't even a part of the cast and centers the conversation on herself by saying, you'll never guess the crazy day I had. Me and Gertie met, and she just says, I have cancer. The ladies are kind of shocked, and the episode rewinds, showing Gertie reiterating yet again, please, please, please do not tell anybody. Let me tell them on my own. So this was kind of the culmination of the dinner last week that we had a lot of opinions on. So before we kind of dive into this, Shantae, what are your because last week you had some very strong reactions about how she handled the diagnosis. Let's start with you. What did you think about seeing her just kind of do what she did as Gertie's pleading with her to just like be quiet for a couple of seconds and let her speak?
I was very disappointed in Larsa, and just the fact that she kind of doubled down on telling the girls accordingly on social media is just like proves that she does not have that level of empathy or respect that you would have for another human being who is suffering. And it does make me suspect again that it's even a little deeper than her just maybe not being all there, in terms of emotional intelligence. But to me, it reads like it could be xenophobia or something deeper, because it's like how when someone tells you, that they are going through an illness like that, you're questioning them, and then you basically disrespect their wishes up and down, by not keeping the secret, telling everybody, making it about you. It gives that Larsa has some serious problems with Gertie, and I think it's obviously disrespect, but I think there's also a deeper, maybe xenophobia there too.
Danny, what are your thoughts?
So, what really
you are hot in the group chat. I will say this. Danny was hot. He was ready to tear into her.
When the scene ended last week, I was like, it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't matter how you start a conversation. What happens? What matters is the way it ends. And it ended off worse than it started. In my opinion, because the whole time, Larsa was sitting there. Again, she was more concerned, like you said, with how she was being perceived as a villain. Like she was still more focused on her calling. It took Gertie to say, let's forget about all this stuff. That should have been what Larsa said the minute she found out about that diagnosis. Girl, let's forget about this stuff. Now let's focus on you. And she's been online on her little cleanup campaign trying to say why she shared what she shared with the other girls. And she says because she wanted to rally everyone around her. But that's not how she shared the information with them. She didn't say to them, y'all, we really got to be there for Gertie. It was actually those two people that I don't know who they are who said, girl, you need to love on her. You need to be there for her. And Larsa was like, yeah. Like she got disgusted with what they were saying.
Yeah.
And people say, well, she's on a show. It's not like it was a secret. I get that. But what they're failing to realize is that it's not like the other girls were going to see this footage and this airing right now. Yeah. The season wouldn't have aired by the time Gertie had a chance to tell them. That's just where Larsa's trash. Nobody will ever change her mind. There's just no justifying what she said. That's just that. And it's bottom line. Anybody who defends that behavior will literally, you just can't trust them. Anybody who defends Larsa, you can't trust them.
It's always, if I were to tell you, Danny, I'm getting a dog on Friday. I'm very excited for this. Please don't tell anybody. I want to surprise everybody with this. And you go and tell somebody, as petty as that is, that's still justification for me to look at you like, girl, I flat out looked you in the eye and you told me and said, I get it. That's not the kind of person I am. I won't tell anybody. And you do it. That destroys the trust I have in you, but it tells me that you don't value me as a person. This is now exponentially worse when Gertie sat there and literally is like, she couldn't even say the word chemo. She clearly said, she was like, I haven't wrapped my head around this. Like I don't know how I'm going to tell my kids. I don't want to say the word chemo. I'm going to be bruised. I'm going to be black and blue. Like I don't want to talk about it. You can physically see that Gertie is still trying herself to come to terms with her diagnosis. And you sat there and you tell this lady, that's not the kind of person I am. Trust me, I'm not going to tell anybody. And you couldn't even make it to dinner. I don't know what to say. Like, Larsa is a good villain for TV, but as a person all around, she's kind of trash.
and the thing is, too, maybe you shared it with two people. Let's say you talked about it with your close friends, two people who don't know Gertie, right?
Yep.
I don't know. I might look at that a little differently, but then you go and share it with girls in the group who are going to feel some type of way. Also, she's creating division too, because those girls are going to say, Well, not only did you tell Larsa, you told Adriana,
Yeah.
Nicole, and Julia, but you haven't told us. So what are we to y'all? To you now?
Yeah.
You know, she's creating division there too between them. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah. And so as we move on, they're at the party. The women start arriving. Lisa and Jody are literally matching in denim. I think they look great. Lisa, I think they finally got the right color on her hair and evened out the bronzer because she looks really good now. That episode 1, it was like, oh, it was given Miss Continental 2013. Well, because they recorded that all in one city. She didn't have a chance to clean it up. Then what's her name? Marisol and Steve arrive dressed in all black, and everybody looks really, really cute. Kiki arrives and says what we're all thinking, like, girl, like, you're serious. This is a welcome home party for someone that has only been gone for 5 days. Oh, okay, cool. This is what we're doing. So the ladies are kind of sitting on Larsa's couch, and you can just tell that Larsa is chomping at the bit to tell this information. So like the both of you said, you know, it would be one thing if they shared it with like close friends, like, hey, we really need to rally around. Larsa, when she brought it to her 2 friends that aren't cast members, and then when she brought it to Marisol, Kiki, and Lisa, it was all framed under the guise of, guys, I had a thing with Gertie, and I was wanting to know why she called me fake. And then she tells me she has cancer. Like, it was very the frame of like, poor me, I'm the victim because she side swiped me. She says that with little to no emotion. And Lisa, Marisol, and Kiki are literally like gagged. Everybody's jaw is dropped. They're screaming. Marisol, God bless her, was extremely uncouth. Like the first thing to fly out her mouth was like, oh my God, everybody I love is dropping like flies. I'm like, oh, okay. Like I could tell you're a little emotional, but maybe not that. You could tell she's very, very much emotional, and we get a confessional where she's saying that recently she's had people pass from illnesses. One of her really close friends is currently in the throes of an illness, and she's battling for her life, and she has small children. We know how difficult Mama Elsa's passing has been for Marisol. So her emotional reaction, I can see where that would be coming from. Lisa is just like, yo, what stage is it? What's going on? What do we need to do? Kiki looks visibly like shaken, and Larsa the whole time is just like, yeah, it's nuts. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Like, she caught it early.
I'm sorry, Jamie. Kiki looked like, girl, are you really telling her business? That's really what I got.
She was pissed. Like her face.
Yeah.
She looked like, I can't believe. Why would you say this if she hasn't told the rest of us? So after that, Alexia comes in with Todd, and Larsa cannot wait to tell her either. And oh my God, Alexia was like, oh wow, that sucks, man. That's crazy. I'm so sorry for her. I'm like, Alexia, please, my God. But this is where I can't get behind Larsa's cleanup campaign that she's doing, because as soon as she says, she goes, don't tell Gertie that I told you. Don't tell her you heard it from me. She's having a difficult time, and it was very hard for her to tell me. Like, girl, you you knew that. So this is now the 5th person or 6th person that you told in a span of 4 hours, lady.
6. It was 6.
6 people. Like, basically everybody that Gertie needed to tell. Shit. Thanks. So everybody's like, okay, yeah, we're not going to say anything, obviously, but everybody genuinely looks like they're concerned for Gertie. Everybody except Larsa. So Marcus comes in, says hi. Him and Todd seem to have a little bromance going on. They're like, it's good to see you. And Marcus brings up the party, but he's a messy bitch because he says, yo, I was expecting to see you at the party the other night. I was disappointed. I'm like, oh, okay. All right, Peter Thomas, let's get messy. Todd then takes the opportunity to give a speech at someone else's home about why he skipped the party. This man loves a speech. He's never met a speech he didn't want to give. He says that he reviewed the guest list and decided that there were people at the party that had been bad-mouthing his stepson, and I'm guessing it would have been Frankie, just weeks before. And everybody wants to know who he's talking about. Kiki kind of alludes that it's more than likely Adriana, but she's not buying it, that Adriana's kind of being used as a scapegoat. He changes the subject really fast. It's like, we just need to focus on this basketball charity event. So Danny, Adriana had a story last week where she said her and Todd actually met outside the party, and her and Todd had no beef. And Todd actually says it's so good to see you, and agreed with her when she said there was trouble in his marriage. And now he's saying that there's somebody at the party and everybody knows it's Adriana that he didn't want to be around. Who are we believing right now?
But didn't Todd tell... No, Todd didn't tell Alexia that he saw somebody, right? Because I feel like that's when we saw the flashback of Adriana.
He said he saw everybody. Lisa said she saw Todd, and Adriana said she saw Todd. Todd just said I saw people as they were leaving.
Okay, yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
I believe Adriana, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Adriana is, she's loud, she's annoying, she's a lot of things, but there's something about Todd that I just don't trust. Something about him that's very fishy to me. I know who Adriana is. I may not like everything that I know about who she is, but I do. Yeah, I believe Adriana, just being honest. And you're right, Jamie. I completely forgot when I said what I was saying earlier about Larsa trying to rally the girls, because she said, "Don't tell I told you." That alone knows that you're doing something you shouldn't have been doing. If you have to tell people, "Don't say I told you," because I wasn't supposed to. I mean, I really appreciated Marisol's reaction. I appreciated Lisa's reaction because it wasn't about her. It was more concerned about what stage, Yeah. Lisa only has tears for Lenny, her tears with Lenny, so I get it. That's now she's able to respond to anything else. And I'm not even saying to try to be funny.
Yeah. Well, the rest of the episode,
tears.
We see them tears for Lenny.
She's saving her tears for that. And then Kiki, I understood her reaction. The only one who, she just reminds me of the witch from the Chronicles of Narnia, Tilda Swinton. That's what Larsa reminds me of, just cold as ice.
I think she's lacking the chromosome that gives empathy. Like something.
If it's not about her,
the neurons.
She still wants to make it. Everything is still about how she was called a liar and fake.
Yeah. Shantae, who are you believing, Adriana or Todd? Because I think last week, in the group chat, at least you were like, Adriana said this and that, and Todd is saying this. So what are you thinking now?
Oh, I think Adriana's totally telling the truth. Like, their story has changed. Yeah, Todd and Alexia's story changed so much. And just the fact that they were at an event that was not about them, making this whole performative speech, totally gave, like, they practiced at home in the car. And I was not buying it. And Larsa just seems so thirsty, throwing that party for Marcus and like sitting on his lap. And I'm like, you have all this empathy for somebody who's gone for 5 days or this, false emotion, but you can't muster like a piece of this for somebody who actually has cancer that's supposedly your girlfriend. Like, Larsa, she annoyed me. And I feel like Alexia and Todd were also fronting really hard at this party, making up this story to throw Adriana under the bus. Team Adriana.
Yeah, Jamie, this comment here definitely does add a lot of context. I think Larsa was almost like I told you. I think she was trying to get them mad that they weren't told the information, from Gertie herself, and she wasn't expecting them to be hit like that. And yeah.
To me, it almost gave, thinking of this, it almost gave that she was expecting them to be like, really? Cancer? How does she know? Is this like maybe they were going to doubt that she had cancer, and she thought it was going to be this huge thing, but she's doing this to deflect off of calling you fake in the press. She's doing this for a storyline. That's what she thought it was going to look like. That's what I think, because when she realized that all of Marisol was still like, no, we got to rally around her. Even Alexia didn't have the most emotional reaction, but she was like, this sucks, man. Like, what? She was like, oh, yeah. Don't tell her I said, because she's having such a hard time. Like, her tune changed so fast. I agree. She did not expect for them to all be unanimous in their empathy for her.
I wasn't gonna say nothing. I'm sorry.
Okay. So to piggyback off of you, Lisa's talking about her relationship with her new man. She says that she really loves him. He's a great guy, blah, blah, blah. But she wants to make sure that she's not rushing into stuff. We've seen all of the ladies kind of have a little bit of cause for pause by saying she's going through stuff and she needs to feel that. So to hear her say that, like, hey, I don't want to be dependent on a man. I actually want to make my own money. I was like, okay, Lisa, Like, good for you. Like, I like hearing that. She's saying she's doing a fragrance line and like body oils or body creams. And I'm like, this actually, this makes sense for her. I was thinking of like something along the lines, something in the beauty brand, like hair or makeup or something, but like fragrance and body creams kind of fits her. So I'm good for her. And all the ladies seem to really gather around and be proud of her and supporting her. So I'm now off of the Lenny drama train, and I really just want to see Lisa start this venture and go off, because the entire time we haven't seen Lisa be interested in doing anything other than being a wife to this man. And so I'm here for Lisa 2.0. Convo turns to like the 1 year anniversary of them finding out that Lenny left her. Lisa starts crying again, just saying that she's just really fed up with the way he's treating her. I mean, all of us have agreed at one point or another, all of this has been played out on TV and also in the press. That man is dragging her through the mud, parading his mistress around. The ladies are all in agreement that she needs to stop focusing on all the bad that Lenny put her through and really focus on what's good in his life. They all agree that Gertie is like literally a saint for having to listen to her talk about all this mess nonstop. We get a little scene of Anthony and Nicole that was purely put in here just to kind of flex at how filthy rich that they are, shopping for yachts because their boat is just a day boat and not a weekend boat. So they're shopping for these yachts. Nicole looks gorgeous. Talk of baby number 2 is kind of had, and this is really cute that we get to see the beginning of this, because as we know, they announced their pregnancy right at the beginning of this season, so congrats to them. Let me see, Julia and what's her name, Voldemort, are having dinner or talking about Julia and Gertie are chatting about Voldemort's favorite hobby, which is like opera. And so Julia is going to take opera lessons. She's going to be singing. It's not it. I really wish she would have found another pastime that she was going to celebrate with Julia, because this is the only time we see Adriana this episode, and it's a flashback of Adriana playing the piano, listening to Julia, and she's like, "Oh my God." Like, why do you have
I do for you?
The things I do for you, and to keep a check coming. We get Gertie and Russell kind of talking on the parking lot, and I really, really loved. I love this scene because Gertie is really pouring her heart out to Russell. Russell has always been like kind of the silent house husband, like he's there because he needs to be there with his wife and the kids, and this is what the job entails. But to see them talk about Russell taking the lead on having the conversation with the kids, with the 2 boys, because Gertie wasn't emotionally able to talk to her sons. And you could tell the way that she is with her boys, like those 2 kids are like her heart. Like she loves the hell out of those boys. He said that he Googled and did some research on like how you can tell him and kind of prep himself for some questions. He said that the oldest one got really, really quiet and just kind of like internalized stuff. The youngest one asked if it was contagious and was asking, a lot of questions. And it just kind of, for me, reinforced how they each take after one of the parents. The older one is very much Russell, and the baby is very much Gertie. Gertie was, just saying like, I'm, nervous about this and that. And he was like, it's fine. We're going to get through it together. And she's like, you're my husband. You're not supposed to deal with my shit. Like I'm supposed to deal with it. That's not your job. And he just won like house husband of the year. He was like, your shit is my shit. Like we're doing this together regardless. And like, I teared up a little bit because we get a lot of frivolous stuff on the Housewives. And a lot of time it's like husbands are there and it seems very scripted and like, oh, I'm so sorry your friend made fun of you. Like, I love you so much. We're such a solid unit. But like something like this, to see him like really rally behind her was like really, really touching. Did y'all have anything you wanted to add about that?
I loved the Nicole and Anthony scene. It was just so rich and opulent to me. And it gave me what I needed as far as, we don't always get to see this on every franchise, the lavish lifestyle. So I love seeing it from them. Lisa and Gertie. A part of me doesn't feel, like how they keep saying you got to stop talking to him about this stuff. First of all, that man got involved with somebody who was in the middle of a divorce, a nasty one. I'm sure this was talked about on their first date. This was the topic. So either he wants to be on TV he has low self-esteem, or he just likes drama too, and he likes to feel needed. Because I don't feel bad for him at all. He put himself in a position to be with somebody who can only talk, whose only topic on their mind right now is this. I do disagree with Lisa saying that he's her therapist, though. I think that's very unhealthy, and I don't see this relationship lasting either.
No.
When the dust settles and the divorce is over, what are they going to have to talk about? They don't even know each other outside of that conversation.
Ooh. Honey, Anla.
And
you better fix her life.
And then Russell, like he just Greg had always been my favorite housewife. Russell is not my favorite living house husband. I mean, Russell
not Greg, a housewife.
Russell is not my favorite house husband.
No.
Greg is the goat of all time for me, but he took the award for me with this scene. It was just very supportive. The fact that he put such thought into how to deliver the news to his kids, I think that touched me more, honestly, than him supporting her. Because as your husband, yeah, Gertie, that is what he's there for. Sorry, that's what the vows said, for better or for worse. So
yeah,
he is there for that. But it was the thought that he put in delivering the news to the kids, and when he mentioned that the youngest kid asked, "Is it contagious?" That got me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Shantae.
I agree with a lot of what Danny said. I'll go back to the Dr. Nicole boat scene, because I actually remembered when Larsa made that joke about Lisa's boat being small to Nicole's boat being small to Lisa. So I wonder if Lisa had told her, and that's why they were shopping for the new boat, because Larsa kind of shaded.
She was like, "Oh, we got the money. My boat's small. I'll get another one. It's fine."
So I was wondering if it was a little competition there. But then when it comes to Lisa, I definitely think she would benefit from therapy, like all of us can, because it looked like even her kids were sick of her. I remember when they were eating the pizza and they kind of looked at each other, and the girl was like, "I know," and I was like, these kids probably have heard it all, even more than Jody, and that's actually who I feel the most for in like situations of divorce, because the kids always suffer greatly, and if Lisa's being this loud on the phone in this one scene, in front of cameras when she has Jody, imagine what they've seen. So I just pray for them, especially, and I hope that the child bride knows what she's getting into, because if he's so willing to discard and treat the mother of his kids like this, what does she think he's gonna do to her? And Lisa doesn't even. She honestly did not really want the relationship to end when you think about it, Yeah. And I don't think she realizes kind of what she signed up for, because Lisa didn't do anything to Lenny. It was just kind of out of the blue, I don't think she has any fault. The mother would say otherwise, but I really, really just feel for especially the kids in this situation. And then when it comes to Russell, I think he's a great husband. The fact that he did look up the things on the website, to talk to the kids about, was really good. And I think Gertie chose wisely when it came to her, partner. So I just get inspired, by scenes like that, because that is what marriage is supposed to be, the for better or worse and sickness and health. Yeah. Unlike, how Lenny was acting, Russell is just like star example of what you should do when you choose, to start a life with someone. Yeah.
You make a really good point. Lisa has kind of talked about Lenny without really any regard of who is listening. So obviously the kids are there. And in all the drama that we're seeing, the drama is fighting over money. I have yet, and in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, or you guys can, I have yet to see a news article or anything come out where Lenny is fighting for custody of his children. Lenny is fighting over giving this lady money. Lenny does not spend any time with those kids, does not want those kids, guilted her for not having children, because I don't think he ever anticipated them actually having a child. That was his way out. She couldn't give him a child, so this is going to end our marriage. And then, oh shit, we had a child. Damn. Now shit, we had another one. So I know she's going through stuff, but those kids hear everything. And I hope that she can realize that and keep those kids innocent as much as possible. Because the last thing that she wants is for them to grow up with this predisposed notion that their father's a shitbag. Even if he is, let those kids form their own opinions about their dad and figure stuff out, because they're at some point they're going to grow up and resent you for giving them thoughts about their dad before they were able to form on their own. And then we've seen how vindictive Lenny is. He's going to use that against her for every single time an appeal comes up for alimony or for spousal support or for whatever. Like, I need her to go into a room. Go to a room and shut the door or something. Like, don't have those conversations with that kids. I will say kudos for the little girl not slapping her again. So growth. Because I would have, if there was ever a time to slap my mama, this scene would have been it.
I do agree with this comment here, though. I also think Lenny had kids for his mom.
Oh, absolutely. We saw the first 2 seasons his mom guilting, or the 2 seasons they were on before, the mom guilting, not so much Lenny, guilting Lisa about not being able to give him a kid. So I agree. So we see rich Nicole with her mom and the little boy. And every time I see this little boy, he's so freaking cute. They are currently in their penthouse condo while remodeling their multi-million-dollar teardown. She recounts all the investment properties that they have together, separately. She forgot that she had some investment properties by herself. And really, like, her goal coming in here is just like to flex. And like, I'm rich. I'm very rich. I'm rich by myself. I'm rich with my husband. We are rich together. She talks to her mom about baby number 2. And her mother, while she kind of makes a good point, she was like, you guys aren't married yet. You have a child. You're talking about another one. You really need to, get married in order to protect yourself financially, even if they split. But then Nicole is kind of like, well, Lisa was married and split, and she is not protected in any aspect. So marriage really doesn't guarantee that my husband, ex-husband, ex-partner, father of my children is going to do right by me or his kids. But then she flexes again and says, you know what, I'm not too worried about my financial picture if Anthony and I split. I'm going to miss the private jet. But like, she's a whole anesthesiologist. Like,
she makes like $350, $380K a year. She's fine.
She's not making minimum wage. And she says, plus I'm a catch. I won't be single for long. I was like, I know that's right. So Julia and he who should not be named are having lunch. He says that Julia is falling behind on the wife duties because she failed to acknowledge Martina's final cancer treatment. Julia is kind of telling her that the reasons that she forgot, she just got so sidetracked making her meals and stuff. But the real reason is she's practicing this foolish dream about singing opera. And I get it. It's sweet. And it's, it's nice. Oh my God. But not everybody needs to have dreams. But also you can tell she feels horrible because Martina is obviously thinking that she's not caring about her ending her cancer treatment and stuff. And I'm not going to go too much on Martina, even though she's a trash human being, because good for her for beating cancer. Like, congratulations to her. She finished her last treatment. Gertie joins them, and she's coming on with the intention to really pick Martina's brain about her journey and her cancer diagnosis and her treatment. And so she can kind of gauge what lies ahead for her as she's going through this. Gertie is very candid. She says she's absolutely terrified of chemo and radiation. She's been Googling what she can expect, side effects, things of that nature. And she brings up a very, very good conversation, which once again, I am so happy that Gertie is the one. Like, I'm not sorry. Let me rephrase that. I'm not happy that Gertie is the one that got this diagnosis. I'm happy that Gertie is brave enough to put this on camera and have these discussions, because she says, I'm Googling images of cancer treatments, and there are little to no Black women that have photos of what their bodies looked like at the site of the chemo injections and the site of the drip. She was like, I don't know what my body is going to look like. I don't know. I don't know. And this just opens up a Pandora's box of conversation about the discrepancy, of how Black women, women of color, have access to medical treatment and access to quality medical treatment when going through stuff, and their white counterparts. Why the statistics for death among Black women with breast cancer is substantially higher than their white counterparts. So I hope that these conversations continue to be had. But then she's just kind of like, you know what, I'm worried about my body, but I'm more worried about this just sucking the soul out of me. Like, how am I going to feel at the end of this treatment? And it's very much it's very touching, but in pure Gertie fashion, she ends up with a joke. She's like, so what about intimacy? She's worried she's not going to be able to have sex. And Martina was like, oh no, did nothing for me. We were still banging like rabbits. And I'm like, oh.
That ain't what Julia's face said when she said
So that left Gertie a little like, okay, good, I will be able to have sex. So Danny, what did you think of the little package with Nicole and the babies and the talk of marriage, and then Voldemort having sex?
So I saw a comment in here from Jeremiah, and I had the same thought he did, and I'm just hoping it's not true. And he was like, it's almost like it was a foreshadowing of some trouble that might come between Nicole and Anthony.
I saw that.
And I really hope and I really hope that's not the case. I hope that her mom just wants her married. Yeah. Because I noticed that Nicole said, "Not I wouldn't be single for long, but I won't be single for long." And I just listened to little words like that. I think it makes a difference when you're talking. And you had the scene where Gertie talking to Martina and what she was worried about, and when she said she couldn't find pictures of Black women online, with like picture, of chemo and stuff. That really kind of is like an eye opener. Like as you said, when it comes to Black women in healthcare, that it's not. They have always less than ideal situations, and they receive less than healthcare than most other people do. That's just a fact, and it's tragic and unfortunate. So I'm glad that she is bringing awareness to that. The monster that's married to Julia.
Monster.
I saw a comment in here that says she looked too sick to be out without a mask, and I agree. She should still be living like the boy in the bubble. From the way she looks. But I guess, hey, don't be out in the bubble. Whatever happens, happens. I'm done.
Okay. God is taking
make
care
me
of you.
choke.
I'm sorry. I'm very happy that lady, but she's a late piece of lady. She's a late piece of lady.
Well,
Shante.
you see, y'all cannot talk like this when I'm drinking because somebody could die over here, okay? But when it comes to Nicole, I actually was wondering if she knew that she was pregnant already, but it was too early for her to say anything because she seemed very confident, very assured. And just the fact that they plan to have the wedding with all the kids in the wedding, it's a good plan. And I saw the baby announcement. I thought it was so cute how they had kind of like the She News newspaper style. Yeah, paper saying that they're pregnant, and they had the expensive fancy car. So it seemed like it was well planned out, and I'm just happy for her because she showed up pregnant at BravoCon too.
Yeah.
So it seems like she's gonna get her happily ever after, and they're gonna have their wedding with both kids at the wedding, right?
Yeah.
And then when it came to Martina, because I'm not calling her Voldemort.
You don't have to. I'll do it.
Low-key, some people call her Viserys, but I'm not going to say it. But between Martina and Julia and Gertie, the lunch that they had, I actually was thinking about Love and Marriage Huntsville. If you've heard that show, there's
I watch it
person.
religiously.
Yes, you heard about Kimmy, right? How she had issues having relations, when she had her chemo. Exactly. So I was taking what Martina was saying with a grain of salt because I've heard, especially on that show, how intercourse is harder, but I feel like it's all different depending on the person.
She also don't have a husband as emotionally connected to her as Gertie does. So that could play a difference too, because that's another show. I'm sorry, because I can't.
Not y'all recapping. Hold on.
No, but then also I think munching is different from hunching. If I'm not gonna be crude.
Oh my gosh, Shante.
But seriously, maybe it is something to say about having some big back men climb on top of you, you know, and doing all that. Maybe it is harder versus, you know, the ladies, you know, loving on each other. I feel like it is a different situation. So I don't think Gertie should feel as relaxed about it because it's a little bit like I said before, like it's a different journey for each person. And like I said, I think munching and hunching is a little bit of apples and oranges, a little bit too. But I don't know. That's where my mind went.
Well, you know, chemo does affect people's bodies differently. At the end of the day, chemotherapy, radiation, they're poison. You're inserting poison into your body. When you put poison into your body, every aspect of your body hurts. I don't even feel like kissing on somebody when I have a fever, when I'm sick, when I got a cold. So I can't imagine having my body being broken down by chemotherapy and then like my husband, whoever it is, coming up being like, yo, let me get some. Like, if you don't get away from me right now. But also I think, you know, Gertie says jokes and stuff, but I think deep down, when she said it's going to destroy my body, I don't want it to take my soul. Like, I think she is genuinely just terrified that everything that she loves is going to suffer because of this. And I think that's a very realistic thing to be scared about. Like, is my husband going to find me attractive? Or my kids going to want to be around me? Am I going to look like myself? Gertie's a very beautiful woman. And she knows it. She said many times she loves the way that she looks. So when you're faced with this prospect of, who is this person I'm going to be looking in the mirror, like, it's a very real reaction to want to know, like, shit, what do I have to look forward to? Danny, what were you going to say?
No, and I think what you're saying is spot on. I also want to add that I think also with Gertie, you know, Gertie is a woman who's in charge of things. She takes control, and this is one thing that she has no control over. She has to sit back and I don't want to say enjoy the ride, but just be told what to do and stuff like that. And her personality type can't handle that.
Yeah.
So mentally, I know, I'm so glad that, you know, we saw her ringing the bell and all that stuff.
Yes.
You know, that she's done. But mentally, I know that I feel like she probably suffered more mentally than physically this whole time she had chemo. As difficult as the treatments are on your body, I feel like mentally it was harder for her than physically. I feel like physically she would have been, if that was all she had to deal with physically, she would have weathered through it like a champ. But I think mentally it was much harder for her.
If somebody would have told her, hey, without a shadow of a doubt, at the end of X amount of months, you're going to be 100% clear and there is absolutely nothing to worry about, she would have been like, cool, let's do it. But there's always that uncertainty of, it looks promising, but it still may not work. And like you said, she's a boss. She controls her destiny. She has her own company. She's in charge of people. She's in charge of her household.
She cut her hair off before sellout.
Yeah, she was like, I'm doing this the way I'm doing this. So that absolutely, I agree 100%. I'm going to go ahead and put the link into the chat for to get some callers while we recap this last little bit. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, sign up for the notifications. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I see the comments are going off. Again, everybody who's joining us, thank you so much for the engagement. You make these shows fun. You make these shows worth signing on and talking mess. Without y'all, we could have just been in the group chat talking shit to each other. So in this final scene, we see Larsa and Marcus having a dinner, and they're talking about their upcoming charity basketball game that Alexia is putting on. I think this is actually really, really cool. And, Larsa was saying that, you know, you donate, you know, an X amount of money, $5,000, and you get to send somebody to, make a wish foundation. And so you get to send like a family to, Disney World and stuff like that. So even if she is a frost beast, it's good to see that she's charitable and she understands that she has the means to be able to give to other people. She says that she's a little bit worried about everybody riding up there together because with the group, it could go south at any time. We fast forward to 6 hours later on the Sprinter van. No good ever comes out of a Sprinter van ride ever in the history of Housewives. It's packed with all the ladies and their men. There's a cheese plate. Somebody mentions that it smells like cheese. They do look like they've been having some libations. Adriana mentions that she ate pork, and so she's a little gassy. And Marisol makes a comment, okay, well, be mindful that we're all in this bus too. And then all hell breaks loose. Adriana and Marisol are screaming at each other. Marisol tells her in Spanish she better watch her mouth because she's going to eat her alive. Tells her to shut up. She tried to screw her ex. Adriana calls Marisol a drunk. It just looks like the men are sitting there like, oh my God. With the scene ends with them pulling up to the basketball game. Nicole's had enough and is just like, yo, we're here, guys. Stop this. And we fade to black. So we knew that this was coming. Marisol and Adriana haven't had a conversation since last year, and it seems that Marisol kind of has not gotten over anything that Adriana has done. Shantae, who do you, just based off this scene, whose side are you on?
Adriana.
Damn it.
I love Adriana. I'm sorry. I want her to have her flamingo or her mojito, you know?
You want a flamingo to happen so bad.
Yes. But no, even when I was looking at, you know, the news around BravoCon, I heard that Adriana and Alexia even got into it at the airport fighting.
Yeah.
So you're gonna count on Adriana to always stand up for herself and get it popping, which is what we want to see. And I think this episode was missing Adriana a little bit, you know, because she's always not afraid, you know, to tell the truth. Sometimes she'd be right and wrong at the same time, like when it came to
more wrong,
you know, what she said about Frankie and all that. But again, she is the spice of this show, and I just thought it was great that she got it popping on the bus, because this episode was a little sleepy without her, you know.
I will say, Danny, before I get you, if Adriana had been at that party and had heard Larsa telling Gertie's business, Adriana would have dragged her up and down that party.
Well, she already is.
I
mean, that's coming.
That's again and again. She would have hit her again and again and again. Danny?
So I'm definitely on Marisol's side here when it comes to this argument. Just because I feel like Adriana really crossed the line with her with the X thing, and you can't. My foot will never go off your neck. We're already like on thin ice, and then you bring, you know what I'm saying? Then you bring that. Like, no, you do that. So no, I hope Marisol tears her up. And Marisol looks, she's been trying to be calm these first couple of episodes, and Adriana's going to take her there. And I know when Marisol goes to talking in Spanish, she's pissed off because she can't find the words to articulate herself in Spanish. And what I really want Adriana to do is get some self-confidence, because 99% of her issues with these girls comes from her low self-esteem and her thinking that everybody feels that they're better than her. And when in reality, as girl, they just don't like your attitude. Bottom line, they just don't like your messiness. It has nothing to do. You could be bagging their groceries. If you were a nice person, they would be nice to you. Yeah. You're just not nice. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, if you followed the show for any amount of time, this is kind of Adriana's ebb and flow. You love her one season. Yeah. You love her one season, and then because she's indiscriminate. She literally has no loyalty to anybody. Like the shit that flies out of her mouth, she's built for TV, because she's like, I'm here for a job, and this is what I'm going to do. So at one point in history, every single person that has been employed with her has hated her guts and has fought with her for that reason. But she's endearing because it's like, I'm sorry, my mouth is big. I don't always think before I speak, but at the same time, they've been friends with her for a decade. So I can understand where you're like, yeah, girl. When are you going to stop this shit? Like, we're 50. We're in our 50s. When is it going to hit?
You know, I'd be okay with her apologies if she allowed that to come from other people to her. Because if someone tells her, I didn't mean to say that, I don't think before I speak. Well, you need to think, is what she would say. Yeah. So her apologies to me mean nothing. When she cries them crocodile tears, I just roll my eyes, because they just don't mean anything.
These are the consequences of your own actions.
The only person on that show, I think, who she can feel that way towards, that they think that they're better than her, is Larsa and Adriana. I mean, Larsa and Alexia. Those two definitely.
And I really, as much as I want Marisol and Adriana to have it out or whatever, because this has been brewing for a couple of years, I really want them to put this petty shit behind them and go after Alexia, because we've seen multiple times where Alexia has not been a friend to Adriana, and absolutely has not been a friend to Marisol. Her and Marisol have only remained friends because Marisol kind of rolls over and allows Alexia to take the lead. If the two of them got together, oh baby, it'd be over, because Alexia really doesn't have. Yeah, Alexia really doesn't have anybody other than Marisol. She has other girls that she hangs out with, but the two of them could take Alexia down in a heartbeat and then solidify their cast member. Marisol really could. Ooh, quiet as kept. All right, so it looks like we have one caller. Let me go ahead and bring in Mel to the stage. Hey, Mel, how are you?
Hey, Panda, how you doing?
Hey. Doing great. Good to hear from you.
Hey, Mel.
Thank you. You know what? I don't. I have to be honest. I don't watch the Miami franchise that in a loyal way. But I will say, when I saw a clip of Gertie and Larsa, I was compelled to watch it, and it was triggering for me. I will say, because I
Mhm.
actually lost somebody in my family to cancer,
I'm so
and
Sorry to hear that.
sorry.
So sorry to hear that.
thank you very much. It was years ago, but it still sticks with me now. And I wanted to say this too, because I think you touched on it, which was really very spot on. When I lost this person who was everything to me, one things that they complained about was that people wasn't listening to them, and it does happen to people of color. That you go to the doctors, you go to people, and that conversation was so triggering to me. Loss is sitting there, move over, Lisa Renner. She, to me, in that moment, became, I mean, the most disgusting, vile housewife I've seen on Bravo in years.
Preach.
It was inhumane. It had no
Mm.
compassion. Um,
That's the word, inhumane.
it
That's a
was
good
Mhm.
word.
it was just nothing was there. I was like, what is wrong with this person? She was so focused on going back to that young man who probably don't want nothing to do with her and her beat up coochie that
Oh
she
no,
couldn't
no,
sit there.
no.
You know what? That she couldn't sit there and show compassion to this woman was disgusting to me. Totally
Mhm.
disgusting. Um, yeah, I think that I'm actually going to watch because I was so triggered. Because I know the other ladies actually I have I know the show, and I think I might watch. But yeah, that moment was triggering. I was shocked. I don't watch Bravo and have a reaction that's going to get me like that, and especially with something I'm not watching on a regular basis, and I just have not seen anything that dark or heavy or just without compassion in a long time on Bravo. So
Mhm.
it was very triggering for me.
Yeah. Do you? And we obviously we see as the season goes on in previews that it's actually devolves from there. That her and Gertie just get in more fights regarding this. And Danny mentioned earlier that Lars is kind of on a social media campaign to try to clean it up, but
Hmm.
it's really not. You did it. It's there. It's on film. Do you think? Because there are people that are defending what Larsa did, saying, well, Gertie did X, Y, and Z, and Gertie, was calling her fake, so of course she was upset. Like, do you think that there was any right way for her to? How could I put this? Was there did she have any reason to be as upset at that dinner as she did, and maybe that's why she wasn't as receptive, or was it just like, girl, that goes out the window? Like, we talk about this another day. Like, can you maybe see where she wasn't as empathetic because she was mad, or is it just like, girl, be a
No,
human in a second?
I just think that she's just a terrible person. I think that for me, I think for me, this is what I will say this too. We all grown, and I think in our lives we go through ups and downs with our coworkers, our families, or whoever. But if somebody, when people have come to me with a divorce or something crazy or issue, whatever, it literally just nullifies everything. It goes out the window. I'm for me, when somebody comes to me with something that's sad to them, I'm so in a state of shock that I'm trying to hold their hand. I'm trying to show compassion. I'm trying to listen. I'm not trying to question you. I think that I'm not going to forget what happened with somebody who maybe I have a disagreement with, but in that moment, I'm just so shocked and I'm just focusing on the person. I'm not going to try to quiz them down. So I think it's
Yeah.
really shocking to me that she would go on because I think I saw it. So when it happened, I went back to the BravoCon clips with this woman, and I wanted to learn more about this as I go into the season. And I did see that she sort of doubled down at BravoCon. She still had an air of it just was stupid and sickly to me. I mean, for a person to look so plastic and so stupid, for her to be so mean, is crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. So you know what? Listen, I might be a regular caller just to get that laid together a little bit because you know Miss Larsa she's on my hit list. She really is because I think
Yeah.
that for me she was a hot mess. She was a hot mess, and I don't. I'm not going to talk about her looks. I just think that just as a human being, she needs work. She needs work.
Yeah.
She needs to stop the plastic surgery and go to a therapist and go to get a Bible or something because I think if she touched it, the Bible probably would burn. She's so evil. It just yeah, the woman's a hot mess. I'm sorry.
Well,
Listen, I'm
thank
going to
you.
say how I feel. It's just what it is. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank
about
you,
that.
man. We can always count on you keeping it real
Yeah.
and
I
giving
try
your
to.
review.
I try to every
We
time
appreciate
I get
it. Mel said, "It's the soul that needs a surgery."
Oh no. Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
She really do.
Well, thank you, Mel. We appreciate it. As always, we love seeing your name pop up on our callers. We're hoping that you will continue to come in. The rest of the season is going to be a mess between Larsa and Guerdy and this whole thing. So we would love to hear from you.
Well, you know what? You know what? Just
Going
because
forward.
you know what? Just because she triggered me so much, I'm gonna actually gonna watch the rest of those other seasons, so I know what I'm talking about. So that way, whenever Larsa comes up in the comments somewhere, I'll be right there too. I will because
and stuck.
absolutely, yeah. She triggered me. She really did. It was terrible, terrible. And I was gonna say, I think Adriana. I actually like how crazy she is too. I remember.
Right?
Yeah, I do. I think the first couple of seasons, for me, she was iconic for me because she ended up fighting that beautiful woman. They fought in the kitchen and all that kind of stuff. So I had to learn more about the show again. I really do.
All right, Mel, will you have yourself a great night, sir, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you very much to everybody.
All
Have a
right.
good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, so it looks like we've got one more caller. Now, Shantae,
Yay!
this is Ronnie. So I'm gonna need you to let this man talk. Don't jump him. Because last week you was about to jump him. All right, we're gonna go ahead and bring him on. He's gonna be our last caller of the night. Hey, Ronnie.
Hello, everybody.
We were waiting for your name to pop up in the queue.
I feel bad. I've been working so much, getting money and all these things that I missed the beginning of the show like I did last week. But something in my heart of hearts said, I need to check in with the end of the show and see what we're all talking about. So what have I missed and where are we at?
Can I summarize?
Yes, Danny.
I can summarize it for you in 3 words, Ronnie. Larsa is trash.
Oh, absolutely not.
She is. Any person who can sit there and have someone tell you I'm telling you this in confidence, don't share it, and then goes and gossips about it 6 hours later is absolutely trash and can't be trusted. There's no defending that.
Ronnie.
Well, the thing is, I talk so loud so much, so I'm just trying to listen to try to understand everyone's point of view because it is just so funny and comical to me. But I'm gonna try my best. Okay, so let's see. What's the question at hand? The question is Larsa not compassionate? I think Larsa is compassionate. I think she is a compassionate person. I think the issue that we have going on here is that, and she's been since the beginning. Like I said, season 1, she was amazing. And I think the problem is we are at a space where we are knowing that she is insanely confident. And so all we need to really do is nudge her. And she's probably going to say something that doesn't really sit well with the way we operate. But the thing is, she doesn't treat people unkind. She likes herself. And I feel like that's a weird issue to have. And I know people are like that, to be honest with you. I grew up in a very blue collar, humble beginnings type style. And I know that we get threatened a lot of times when somebody loves themselves. And I got to tell you, I love. It's just so funny that you feel weird that people can't take to you. And I think anytime she talks, no matter what she says, people that are very insecure, they get all hot and bothered. And I think that's the root of the problem. But I will say, if we're going to talk about the point at hand, does my human compassion feel for the situation? Absolutely. It made me think of a couple things. I watched season 2 again this week. That's always fun to rewatch. And really the hardest part of it is it made me, in terms of Gertie, it made me remember, the struggling times that my cousin had with cancer, and she, since passed or whatnot. So it did take me on a level of a television show. It took me to a place. What I'm telling you all is, I think to be so bold to call a human being like Larsa trash, I'm like, when I see the big picture, I don't see that she's trash whatsoever.
I mean, and that's your square, so you can feel that. But the topic at hand was really, can you defend her telling Gertie's business after she said she wouldn't? That's the real topic at hand, because you really can't defend that.
Well, here's my other question before we get to that part is we can utilize that now for sure, but it didn't take that for people to have issues with Larsa. The people that don't like Larsa, it does not matter what she does. You're waiting on every note that she's, anything she does.
Redirect this combo.
Well, I'm not waiting on anything she does. I'm just waiting for her to be off the screen.
let's be honest, because all of us anywhere have our favorites, right? We have our people that we stand down, but at the end of the day, when somebody does some Cortez, we're gonna have to take the fine or something. When someone of our faves does fuckery, we have to be adult and be realistic to be like, baby, they did some fuckery. And as much as you can let, and I've even said on the show, Larsa's not my favorite, but she's essential as a villain to the show because she's the only one with a big enough dick to get up there and stand 10 toes down in all her shit. But she's very much Rena in that aspect. But with that kind of BDE, you've got to expect that people are going to call you when you are acting like a shitty human being.
Well,
no
okay,
matter how much you like her.
Here's where we're like kind of in agreement. Yeah, she does have the BDE. Like I relate to her in that way. Like I feel very confident in life. It takes a while to get there, but in life sometimes you get there. And if people can't take you, they can't take you. That's not.
What does
your
that
issue.
have to do with her gossiping about a cancer patient's diagnosis after she looked at Gertie in the face and says, "That's not the kind of person I am. I'm not going to tell anybody."
Well, the whole situation with that, there's nothing more that I could go back and forth in terms of that. I don't love that she did it. I can tell you, like, honest to God, I love Larsa, but I don't love that she did it. I think what I'm trying to convey to you all is that for one, they're not really that tight. Not that it's anyone's business to ever share that information. But I think what I'm saying is I do feel in my heart of hearts that people are missing the point that it doesn't matter what she says. We are waiting to hate and tear Larsa down no matter what. And I just feel like a lot of times it's a projection. Did you remember when Gertie said the comment? She goes, well, I don't know how this goes, Larsa. If it works like this with an entourage, it's like, baby, just because Larsa was extracted and pulled up into the Kardashian world, that's not making her a bad person. That's your projection of what you feel about the situation. I personally never watched Larsa on the Kardashians. I loved her from day one on Miami. But what I'm telling you is sometimes you guys got to believe this to truth, that people have their own projections with scenarios and how they feel about people who are opulent or succeeded. And they start to tell you, oh, you acted in a character that was, whatever. Larsa, and what I'm telling you, here's the point of what I'm saying. She has not been not kind. That's number one. She's been sweet the entire thing. She did overly and misstep with that situation. Do I feel like it was with malice? No, I don't think she was like, ooh, let me, click my heels and run off to the other gals and put out someone's information. I don't think that she did. But the reason I'm not going to fight anyone here on the panel on it is because the scene and the episode itself did really remind me of the struggles that I had with my own cousin when she had her epic 6-year battle with cancer and all of the elements that do come with it and where the mindsets could go both as a person experiencing it and the people that are receiving it. So the situation is challenging. So I will stand down that Larsa's an icon and a queen and all these things, but I won't stand down to not give compassion to Gertie and how challenging this must be. You understand I'm a human in that regard.
Yes. Yeah, we agree. So
Yes.
Shantae, I know that I will give you an opportunity to respond, and then Ronnie, and then we'll let you go because we got one more caller. Listen, for those of you who watch, you may think that it got a little hot. Ronnie has been calling in with us in literally every incarnation of every housewife show that we had. We've agreed on a lot of stuff. We've disagreed on a lot of stuff, but this is exactly why we have these panels, because at the end of the day, it should be a text group chat on video. We need to talk about shit that we're going to talk about, and this is what we're here for. So we respect everybody's wrong opinion. All right, Shantae.
Boy.
All right, Shantae, what would you like to say?
Well, I was just gonna say, sorry to hear, about your cousin having to fight through all of that for 6 years. Absolutely. And as someone who clearly loved them, I wanted to be there for them. I know it probably was a strain on you too, so I just hope that you continue the growth that you expressed, by saying that you could at least see that, Larsa shouldn't have done some of what she did and said, right? And it's important that we, remember that even though she is a public figure and, she's wealthy and things like that, not everybody envies, just because of that. I think even if someone seems to have it all, you can still, see flaws and things that you don't like. I don't think it's always automatic, like jealousy or things that you were, saying like that. I think people have an issue with people being unkind and disrespectful, and especially as a woman of color. Like if I see someone being treated like that who is another woman of color, I get triggered on like a whole lot of levels. So I don't think it's as simple as like, oh, I'm jealous of Larsa's life or her, confidence. It's really not that. When I see her, dismissing and disrespecting Gertie, it takes me back to all the times where, I felt I've been dismissed and disrespected. And part of me as someone who comes from another country as well, like my family's from Gaia. I think part of it has to do with the fact that Grace from Haiti, because I don't think Larsa's racist, obviously, but I think she is xenophobic, and she has made comments like that about, like Gertie's accent or not understanding what Gertie says, and then just like the blatant disrespect, discounting her feelings, discounting her wishes. It's too much for me to discount it as just like a fluke or a small flaw in Larsa's personality, because I would hope she's smarter than that. So for me, I'm seeing something more sinister, and I'm not jealous of Larsa. That's all I want to say.
Well, damn, she got me together, didn't she? No, I love all of that, and it was all valuable. My thing here is, because it was a hard scene to watch, the episode in general and everything that Gertie is going to be going through throughout the season. There is a part of me that's like, do I need to even call in and like add to this? But I just want to say parts that I feel, which is, I don't think, because you were saying, Shantae, in the regards of Gertie feeling jealous. That's not what I was stating. I was saying that people, they act odd and put a self, like they decide for you that you must be pretentious and arrogant just because you happen to have things. I wasn't saying by any means, and I'm that type, because some of my favorite housewives are Larsa, who's got money, and Giselle Bryant's house. I don't resonate
money
based
and no
on
money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, money, if you got it, that's amazing. If you're hot, that's amazing. If you're not hot, that's amazing. If you don't got money, that's amazing. I like the character. So it had nothing to do with that. Just for clarity, like randomly Ronnie Jr. did not say, he didn't say Gertie is jealous. I said sometimes people don't let you live really because they're constantly like, oh, who do you think you are? You're a Kardashian. It's like, babe, I'm just trying my best to react to you. I'm just trying. And, Larsa's a defensive person. I relate. It's me. I'm the same. I defend everything. I need to take a chill pill sometimes.
Ronnie, thank you so much for calling in. Thank you for clarifying that. The lead will still be running with the narrative that Ronnie thinks Gertie is jealous of Larsa. We're going to
Listen, it turns out this is not a safe space for randomly no more. What's up with that? Hey, I got love for you all. And listen, if anybody does like anything in terms of what I do want to just do a quick plug. I do have a channel as well. And you could go
it's on your screen name, randomlyronniejr.com.
I can't be mad that the marketing is built in, baby. Love you all.
Bye, Ronnie. Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right. We guys, thank you so much for sticking with us. We got one more caller, and I have to let her on because she blowed up my phone. She's got a couple things to say.
Yeah.
Miss Chase. Chase, hello. Welcome to the lead. Is this your first time calling in, sweetie?
Oh my God, I'm so nervous. I've never called in before.
Name 'em.
I just want to say.
Name them.
Name them. I want to say, Chase? I was going to come on here and rip Ronnie limb to limb, but I'm not going to because I actually wanted to, as I was sitting in the back listening, give a big ups to Shantae. She handled that masterfully, and I'm very proud of her for the way that she handled it. She showed empathy while also gathering his ass. And since randomly Ronnie is on here shilling things, I just want to say that I'm selling socks 2 for 1. And make sure that you buy those. No, honestly, you guys did a great job. Great panel. I have nothing to say at this point because, like I said, you all handled it. Danny, you handled it. Jamie, you allowed it. And Shantae.
Not enabled.
Well, I mean, that's what you do. And Shantae, you did a great job. Randomly, Ronnie, I do want to say for you, though, my sweet baby, and this is just out of all sincerity and love, do not call back onto these people panel asking them what you missed. Okay? We have the replay button is there for you at any time. And you can always watch. Okay, my sweet baby? So don't call them
Oh.
messing with these people. All right, y'all have a good night. Drop me down
Chase.
because you know I don't know how to do it. Drop me down, baby.
Bye, Chase. All right, guys, this was mess, but we appreciate you guys for joining us. As you can see, Antonio spamming the comments. If you have not already, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to this video, continue to tune in. We have a whole lot of fun reading these comments, getting the callers. You guys really make this hour go by very, very quickly. So thanks so much to you. Shantae, thank you so much for your commentary tonight. Danny, thank you for yours. It was fun. Guys, Danny, you're going to have to help me out. Hold on. Let me pull up the
I know how to do it.
so I can
do
pull
it
up the template.
to close us out.
The template.
No, hold on. I'm pulling up the template. Guys, Real Housewives of Potomac is Mondays, 8:30 p.m. What is Cortez? What's the time frame over there? Eastern? Western time?
Yes.
Pacific time? Eastern time. Married to Medicine. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Housewives of Salt Lake City concurrently with the Married to Medicine recap. Tuesday at 9:20 p.m. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is on Wednesday nights. Miami's Thursday. And then we got Belle Collected that's premiering on Sundays. Please like, subscribe, click on those notifications so you can know every single time that we come on. If you like the three of us, we are on multiple other panels. If you like what we had to say, watch our shows. If you don't like what you had to say, watch them anyway and hate tweet. Drive traffic to our channel regardless. Y'all have a fantastic night. If someone tells you not to tell somebody their business, don't go and tell them their business. All right, you guys, be blessed. Have a great night, and we will talk to you soon.
See you.